Good evening, everybody. Today, when I woke up, there was an inch of snow on the ground. Tomorrow, the weather report saying it's going up to 72 degrees. So that's the four seasons here in Pittsburgh, which usually happens all in one day. All right, we're trying to reschedule. We're going to try to set up a full day option training session. Had scheduled it for April 16th until we realized somebody noticed that that's Easter weekend. So obviously we don't want to do that. So it might be to the 23rd. That's true, yep. Okay, so I kind of directed the YouTube tonight toward the fact that candlestick patterns provide an extra a great amount of analytical results in that we can see the J-hook pattern that occurred here in the Dow. And the additional factor, if I can find the cursor, is that the 50 as well as the T-line acted as a support level, which kind of further confirms the fact that the buyers were using the 50 as support, and we could see that now that there's the prospect that if this is wave one, wave three could be up here, which is kind of coinciding with this range. Add that to the fact that the NASDAQ, oh, what happened here? I know what's happening here. I'm still using one eye, so I can't hit the targets. What's going on? There we go. Notice when it came through the 50, it did it with a doji sandwich, showing a good force that there wasn't going to be resistance at that level, which makes the obvious next target. And crude oil, you can see what's happening on crude oil. Whoops. This is not unusual. Big price move, exuberant buying, the equilibrium of the bulls and the bears. Now put it in the category or a syndrome of kind of a wedge formation. Well, which then what that usually implies is that it that we're going to move sideways for a while in this range. Okay. Yeah, I was just telling Jim that my eye is getting better, but the only disadvantage to all that is having to go to the doctor's office. Yesterday, they gave me an envelope from our little emergency clinic up here in Cranberry to go down to the main hospital, which is only 20 minutes away. Just go into the emergency room, and they're waiting for you down there. So you ought to go there right now. And I said, well, let me see if my sister can drive down. So we got there an hour and a half later. And so they put me in the room. Fortunately, she was in there so we could talk. And we got in there at 10 minutes to 4. So they were waiting for me. supposedly. Well, at 5:45, still nothing had happened. So my sister's pretty well aware of my patients sitting in hospitals and doctors' offices. I said, all right, if something doesn't happen in 10 minutes, we're out of here. They're going to have to chase me down in the parking lot. So that would have been 5 minutes to 6. Well, at 6 minutes to 6, the doctor came in. And she goes, oh, I don't know. They told me that you were supposed to come down to my office, and I had to hurry and get up here, blah, blah, blah. So I sat there for 2 hours. She gave me some eye drops and said, all right, I want to see you tomorrow at my office. And I said, okay. So we went down there, got there at our 1:15 appointment, and sat there for an hour before she could see me. And I knew darn well when she would see me, it would take all of 2 minutes for her to look in that little eye thing and check my eye. And that's about how long it was. 2 minutes, and she said, all right, I'm going to recommend these eye drops, and we'll have you come back Thursday. And I said, oh, no. I said, if I come back Thursday, can I get in without having to sit around for an hour? She said, oh, I don't know. We're backed up today, blah, blah, blah. But that's why I hate going to the doctors. Anyways, I'm glad you're all here to listen to that. That's right. Or, darn, my eyesight is weird. All I'm seeing is spots. Well, have you seen a doctor? No, just spots. Okay, so let's go through a few that we're watching closely. I don't know where these came from. But look what's happening now on Clever Leaves. Does this look familiar? Like this right here. Jay, that's exactly right. I think it was filmed within probably 2 miles of where I live. So just to tell you how extensive my work in the movie area is, it was the same group that filmed the Night of the Living Dead. Now that was filmed back when I was probably, I don't know, 12, 14 years old. We lived on our neighborhood was on a big circle. So one night we were out, it was a summer night, and we were walking around the other side of the circle, and there was a car with the trunk open, and a guy with lights and camera, and as we walked up to see what they were doing, they said, oh, be quiet, we're filming a movie. And they said, oh, here, can one of you take this hose, which they pointed to me, and just squirt this hose up in the air and make it look like it's rain coming down between, so it looks like it's raining. So that was my extent of my movie career. But I held a hose one night for a movie, I forget what it was called, something like something rather Divorcee or something. I don't ever remember it coming out, but that was our claim to fame, was the Night of the Living Dead was filmed right within a couple of miles of here. That's right, need an agent. Okay, so QuantumScape. Little did you know you were going to get all this extra information tonight. There's your wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 on QuantumScape. You can still be buying this one. And here, observe the obvious on Roku. Note the one factor that's very obvious. They couldn't close this below the T-line. Now it's hit the first target. So you take that same analysis on Roblex. Notice they couldn't really close this below the T-line. Now doing a Morningstar type signal. Where do you think the first target is going to be? Probably the 50. Where's your second target? Up here in the gap area. This is one that Marshall pointed out the other day. This is your J-hook pattern, which we're going to go into more extensively tonight. They came up through the resistance level. Notice when they pulled back, they used the T-line and the 50 as support and started buying. So why does this become a much more relevant J-hook pattern? Because everybody that was watching to see if the 50 was going to act as support is seeing that it acted as support, so they're much more confident about coming in for the next move to the upside. Ford starting to show some new life. AVEO, wave 1, wave 2, look for the start of wave 3. Run, very simple analysis. There's your J-hook pattern off the 50. They haven't been able to close this below the T-line. And data. Another one that's supported right on the 50/T-line J-hook pattern. This one can still be bought on positive trading. And we'd recommended Logitech because of the kicker type gap up. You could still be buying this one, especially if it comes back up through today's open. Okay, let's take a look at some of the biggies before going on to... There's Netflix. Now, what makes this a good wave 3 indicator? Look how they gapped it up today off the T-line, off these little hammer signals at the 50. So what's the logical entry? If they start trading this positive tomorrow, it's telling you the 50 is not going to be acting as resistance anymore. NVIDIA, just stay long. Tesla, whoops. Just stay long, but you got a hanging man, doji, you put your safety stop at today's open. NVIDIA, you could be buying it. Just now pick a spot where it shouldn't be trading if you get into it, like back below today's low. Amazon did a lot of consolidation today, but still in this J-hook type pattern. And Apple. Nothing wrong here, kind of a little belt hold type signal. Gap up through this level, still implying there's more upside. Okay, so a J-hook pattern is good. This is what we call the classic pattern. Your fry pan bottom J-hook on bros. We did stem. the fact that they supported at the 50 gives you a lot more upside potential. Santa. Another one that looks like a classic pattern, fry pan bottom J-hook pattern, with the obvious support being right here at the 50 and the T-line. T-Doc, somebody pointed out today. Another kind of J-hook pattern breakout, giving you more upside. PLTR, same scenario. Blackberry. Again, these are all high probability trade setups on the basis that the J-hook pattern is showing confirmation at support levels, which is some additional confirmation that pattern's going to work. And here's a J-hook pattern on a firm, producing probabilities that if this opens positive, you got wave 1, wave 2, breaking out through the 50 for wave 3. PLTR bullish engulfing was a sign of bottoming. Oh, here. Well, you had to have that, and you had the bullish harami. But right now, that's all telling you you're heading up, and this is kind of confirming. And Peloton, another one coming up through the 50, doing a buy signal formation right here at the 50. Also implying wave 3 should bring you back up into this area. Now, even more compelling is the bobble breakout. Like in Lemonade. Not only did it break out, but they gapped up. So that shows a little bit more strength coming into the next wave. Unity, another bobble breakout. What's the implication? They're heading for the 200-day moving average. So the more pieces of evidence that we've got a strong chart pattern, the higher the probability the trade is going to work. That one is TYL. This one is Toast. Well, not a bobble breakout, but why do I have that over there? I don't know. Still a good chart. And VCYT, you can see the slow curve breakout. Next target implication, the 200. Apps, another good looking chart. Okay. Whoops, there's a few more. YEX, a bobble breakout, ready to confirm on positive trading tomorrow. And EVGB. Oh, whoops. EVBG. Another bobble breakout. So any of these you can look at to see if they become good option trades or just your regular stock trade. BX, now there's your best friend signal. Why does this have any significance? Because you can pretty much see where they kind of broke this out down through this downtrend. So that tells us wave 3 is likely in progress now that it broke that level. BLI. Oh, these get stuck there. BLI on positive trading would tell you you're breaking this downtrend, you're breaking through the 50. And if this got running, what's your upside potential? Well, the first target could be coming up here to fill the gap, which would give you a good 100% plus upside. Another bobble breakout situation, GLBE. You got some fry pan bottoms that are working well or setting up well. MTTR. You can see the big basing of the fry pan bottom. You can see where everybody was watching, and it went through that area. So again, on a positive trading out of a fry pan bottom, what's our expectation? A big price move. Where do you think the first potential price move could be? Back up here. So if it came up into the 1750, 1725, 1525 from 9, that would give you an 80% upside. Well, what's happening here? This breaks out through this level. Probably heading for the top of this channel. Fry pan bottom and LWLG. And the fact that they bobbled out today, something's wrong here. What's happening? You got your fry pan bottom, J hook, slow curve, bobble breakout. That slow curve is very powerful in the sense that if you see a slow curve setup, that's usually the stimulus for a big price move. So anytime I see a slow curve setup, I'm getting ready to buy on strength, because usually that strength is excessively strong. HMLP, that slow curve breakout will produce a good strong price move. The electric vehicle sector started coming back. How come I keep goofing up on this? ABML. Why is it not showing up? That's just great. Oh, that's lack. Well, length is still moving in the right direction. Nikola, when it gapped up and did the potential dark cloud, I'm sorry, not dark cloud, bearish belt hold, the next day when it started trading positive again, that was a good indication they weren't selling it off, but it was still heading higher, and that was your next likely target. As you can see, they've gone through that, so now you're looking at kind of a big fry pan bottom. NIO is still trading as a J-hook pattern. And lie, nothing there. And still keeping an eye on this one as a story stock. Waiting to see if they do the proverbial classic pattern. VIR did a double bottom. Why do I have that on here? I don't know. Oh, maybe after hours. It closed up here. After hours doing a big morning star signal. So keep an eye on this one. ISIG, kind of a little mini scoop pattern. Something's going on. So you could buy this one on positive, trading with the expectation your next target is toward the 50-day moving average. And SEMR has that little scoop type pattern set up. Well, it's even, whoops. It's just not coming up. I don't know why. And Red Robin, observe the obvious, kind of a morning star signal right off the 50, making the next likely target the 200-day moving average. All right, so not only do we have some good long positions, but if you want to keep a few shorts in the portfolio just for downside, I don't think I type it J in front of every one of these. Well, look at your bearish J-hook pattern. When they pop back up, failed at the 50, that's a good indication. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, especially now that they've broken through that level right there. RADA, a big evening star signal. That one can be shorted on weakness. LXU, you've got a kicker type signal followed by a doji sandwich. It looks like it's kind of broken this downtrend. First target, second target. Yeah, the scoop pattern looks like a scoop. Hold on, let me, got two more and then we'll go to stay long on this. No, something's wrong there. That's not a short. Something's happened there. There's your J-hook pattern. That shouldn't be over on that list. There's your bearish flutter kicker potential. If this opens lower tomorrow, you could be shorting it immediately. Oh, hold on. Let me find my... Wheel. This is a scoop pattern. Notice how flat the handle is. Then it pulls back, and then you start seeing buy signals and the trajectory coming back up. Now, most people would look at this and say, nah, I'm not going to buy this because there's a lot of resistance right here. We look at it is if you start seeing the buy signals and start back up, and it's not a resistance level, it's the handle to a scoop pattern, which usually has a very strong price move to the upside. So if you see that flat handle and then you start seeing buying, you've got a little bit more, what do I want to say, insights to say that this is starting back up pretty strong. Hold on, this is Nurse Cratchit. Checking. Got to get all my girlfriends out of here. So that's a scoop pattern. Flat handle and then the scoop. Usually produces a high probability. Did the Qs do an abandoned baby today? Not that you know of yet. No, an abandoned baby is when you see it's a one-day island reversal. Now, if this gapped up and did kind of a doji type day, and then tomorrow it gaps down below any of the trading, yeah, that's a one-day island reversal. Okay, let me scroll back up. Could you explain the scoop? All right. Oh, slow curve pattern. Oh, we went through all that to just, okay. A slow curve is kind of an abbreviated fry pan bottom. And in this case, it's real short, and it's usually already after it started. So it's a buildup of investor sentiment that usually produces a very explosive move to the upside. Anita, did you attend the two-day training this past weekend? Didn't you warn us that the gap up and the overbought tighten up stop losses? Yes. So the fact that they gapped up today was a little bit of a warning, but then later in the day when the buying came in, notice that it didn't do a signal. Earlier it was doing kind of a shooting star, and the NASDAQ was doing a doji, but then all that disappeared going into the end of the day, meaning they didn't end up as a signal. So that's not a signal, that's a gap up. You can still be a little bit more attentive for watching selling, but I would suspect they're going to at least go to the 200 before they start selling off. That's right. Okay, Anita, you should know those patterns then. Okay, and I'm also supposed to remind people that on May 20th, 21st, and 22nd, we're going to be attempting to do a private training session here in Pittsburgh. It's a 3 or a 2.5 day session. We kind of limit it to 5 people. And we'd rather have members that are interested get the first slots before we market it to everybody out there. So I I would say if you need more information, email me, but my email's not working. So you want to email Abraham@candlestickforum.com, and if you need more information, just put a note in there saying Steve said to email to get more information about the private training session. And put your phone number and I'll give you a call and we can walk through it. Harvey, wait until I tell Jim to do the double line and then ask for your individual ones. All right, are there any general questions on candlesticks? One of the most important aspects of the patterns is if you can see a pattern like a classic pattern, it greatly improves not only the probabilities of things moving in the right direction, but it gives you a better prospect of that movement being excessively strong. John, there is that prospect. That's why once you see it gap up, you're in the overbought area, that if it hits the 200, be very more attentive as far as what type of buying or selling occurs at that level. So if it kind of shot up tomorrow right to the 200, then I'd immediately pull up my 10-minute chart and see whether things are going to be holding up, or the NASDAQ's going to be holding up at that level, or if it's going to go through. Robert, usually I do, but I say usually I do because I'm sitting here all day long most of the time. Yeah, I just watch to see where they are, and I know mentally where they should not trade. But if I was going out to go to the doctor's office and I knew that I was only going to be gone for an hour, but I would suspect it could be 2.5 hours, yeah, I'd put stops in. Okay, I guess with that, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. And in 4.1 seconds, do the next double line. I can see some of you have jumped the gun. AGCO. And no, I wouldn't short it. I'd get ready to short it on weakness, but I want to see it get down through the T-line. That's still your ultimate criteria. A bullish Harami gap up on wing, you could buy this one. Use the T-line as your stop. DXCM. Stay long. You're in the overbought area. Put your safety stop at today's open. Target, have no idea. You just stay long until you see a sell signal. And plug. Just stay long. Also wouldn't want to see it close back below the T-line. CELZ. That's not coming up. Be big. That one you can buy on positive trading, the J-hook type pattern off the 50. RXT. Another one you could buy on positive trading, fry pan bottom breakout. IGMS. That one you have to trade off your 10-minute chart. If you're trading this one, you better see it start opening positive tomorrow and trading positive. Hood, same thing. I guess they expanded their hours from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's what got it going today. BNTX, another good J-hook pattern setup. You could buy that on Positive Trading tomorrow. And Square, same thing. Maps, just stay long as it stays above the T-line. AGNC, if you like this one, you can be buying. Just be watching to see what happens once it does get to the 50. And Rite Aid, that one you can buy now that it's gapped up through the 50, which is what everybody is watching. And you can see it's got kind of a fry pan bottom trajectory. Winnebago short was closed out today, with it coming way up above the yesterday, or what is today? Yesterday's open. So that one should have been closed out. Now you can see there's kind of a support level right here. So anytime you're in the oversold area or close to it, your safety stop should be at the previous day's open. Microsoft, just stay long. You do have a hanging man in the overbought area, so you put your safety stop at today's low. NSC, Norfolk, just stay long. Retta, bullish Harami off the 50. You can start buying this one on Positive Trading if you like this one. Neg, to stay long on this, it needs to trade positive. If you're long, you put your stop just below today's low. It shouldn't head back in that direction. Allegheny, you can get ready to short this one on weakness. EVGO, that's kind of a toughie, but all you can do right now is stay long as it stays above the T-line. Did we do RXT? You can buy that on Positive Trading. Moss, anytime you're long and they're closing below the previous day's open in the overbought area, close it out. They filled that gap. I would think you could still be shorting this one on weakness. ING, you could buy this one. It must trade overseas because that's why it's so choppy. NUVL. This is another one that if you bought this one today and it hit the 50, I mean it stretched to get there, you definitely flip to your 10-minute chart. Now if you were long, it has to open positive. If it opens lower, it's turned into a nothing chart. AOSE, AOSL. Lots of dojis. Right now, I'd put a safety stop below today's low. If it comes back down through there in the overbought area after 3 dojis, that's telling you they can't take it up anymore. Crude oil was holding up, again, more than likely in this wedge formation, so it may hover around the $100, $105 a barrel level for a while. TNA, look for the next move to the upside, toward the 200. Myrna, J-hook pattern, stay long. Lift. You can stay long on this. Just watch to see what happens at this resistance level. Shopify. Another one you could buy if it opens positive up through the 50. Apple continued its uptrend. You stay long, but you can see they gapped it up right here. So it should imply they're breaking out through this level. But again, you put your safety stop at today's open. All right, did we do Microsoft? I thought we did. Microsoft, stay long. You put your safety stop at today's low. Kennametal, kind of a morning star. That's more of an abandoned baby, I think. If that low is above yesterday's high, and you could draw a circle right around it, that's what you call your abandoned baby. That's right. Boeing versus American. Boy, 6 of one, half another. I went to Cornell, Mike, back when it wasn't quite as liberal as what it is today. DNA, another one you could buy if it breaks out above the 50. Bingo, just stay long. EVO, another one you could buy on positive trading, but this must be traded overseas also. That's why it's so choppy. So that would have sold this morning. You could have sold it when it opened lower and started trading lower, and then be ready to buy it back if it comes back up through today's high and yesterday's close. Nothing wildly exciting on this, but you could buy it on positive trading, continuing its uptrend. And NTR, that one you could still short. Look at the kind of the bearish. I don't know what's happening here. Bearish flutter. Notice as soon as they gap down below the previous day's open in the overbought condition, that's bad news. INO. No. What happened? How did it go way over onto that chart? INO, fry pan bottom, stay long. CRTX, kind of your classic pattern, fry pan bottom, J hook. That's a good looking chart. Another fry pan bottom on BGFV. Stay long on this one. 3D. You could buy this one. Just don't let it close back below the 50. Raytheon has to open positive and trade positive to stay in it. The SPY still looks like there's nothing yet to tell you there's selling. Notice it gapped up through this level. So if you're long or you're trading it long, stay trading along, but you don't want to see it trade back below today's low. AUR, another breakout through the 50 as well as this level right here. So you could be buying that one. Joby, bow here. You stay long on this one. QuantumScape you can be buying for possibly a trade up to the 200 as well as a long-term hold. NVAX, yeah, I'd probably at this point want to see it get out of this range. So I probably wouldn't do anything with it until it does get up through the 50. Philip Morris. Yeah, close out your short because you can see it's not moving in any particular direction. And SLDP, if you're long, it has to stay up above the T line. Yeah, so keep an eye on this one. All right. Let's see what they're doing after hours. They're trading down a little bit. Okay. Guess that's all we got for tonight. Oh, we did it in less than an hour. We will see everybody tomorrow bright and early in the chat rooms. We'll see you then.